is that we are witnessing, and have been witnessing for some time, a new, global, escalating, sophisticated, virulent, and even lethal anti-Semitism, grounded in classical anti-Semitism, but distinguishable from it, that first found institutional and international, even juridical expression in the Zionism as Racism resolution, which Anat Berko made reference to in her remarks, which the late Senator Daniel Moynihan, then the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, said it gave the abomination of anti-Semitism the appearance of international legal sanction. But it has gone dramatically beyond that. A new anti-Semitism for which we need a new vocabulary to describe it, and which can best be described in what might be called an equality rights, human rights, international law approach, which is exactly the approach which is being used to delegitimize Israel. Simply put, traditional or classical anti-Semitism is a discrimination against, denial of, assault upon the rights of Jews to live as equal members in whatever society they inhabit. And we have developed metrics or indicators to identify that anti-Semitism. But there is a new anti-Jewishness, which is anchored in the discrimination against, denial of, assault upon the right of Israel and the Jewish people to live as an equal member of the family of nations. In a word, the right even to live, where Israel emerges as the collective Jew among the nations, or what might be called the targeted collective Jew among the nations. For this, we have yet to develop metrics or indicators of identification and evaluation, and I'm going to briefly share with you three indicators that in fact converge with respect to the whole delegitimization process, and indeed anti-Semitism in its broader context. The first is what might be called genocidal anti-Semitism. This is not a term that I use easily or lightly. I'm referring here to the prohibition against the direct and public incitement to genocide found in the Genocide Convention. Simply put, if anti-Semitism is the most enduring of hatreds, and genocide is the most horrific of crimes, then the convergence of a genocidal intent embodied in anti-Semitic ideology is the most horrific of combinations. We need not be reminded, although perhaps I think Khamenei calling for the excising of this cancerous tumor, Israel, from the region, an incitement to genocide that is repeated to the present day. And I'll just close on this point, gentlemen. It said that the very incitement to genocide constitutes the crime, whether or not acts of genocide follow. And therefore, Khamenei's Iran, and I use this to distinguish it from the people and publics in Iran who are otherwise the target of mass domestic repression, must be held to account, and there are juridical remedies for that purpose. There are other 7 manifestations of this genocidal anti-Semitism. Time does not permit me to go into it. I just want to say that there is a critical mass of this first dimension of anti-Semitism that I'm dealing with. The second is the demonization of Israel as the embodiment of absolute evil, of Israel as a racist, colonialist, imperialist, ethnic cleansing, child-killing, apartheid Nazi state. In other words, Israel is being not only the embodiment of all evil, but constitutive of all evil in the 21st century. So, at the end of these first 2 dimensions of anti-Semitism, we emerge with the following: that Israel is the only state, and the Jewish people the only people in the world today that are standing targets of state-sanctioned incitement to hate and genocide. And Israel and the Jewish people are the only state and the only people in the world today that are themselves systematically accused of engaging in genocide, itself a prologue or justification for the assaults